I feel like a lot of people are waiting for me to disappear again, aren't they? You know, you'll refresh your sub box at the same time every day when I upload, and you'll think, oh, Proudy's not uploaded, he's gone again. I mean, you got to give me some credit though. I get to at least 10 episodes before I go to the shops and never come back. And to be honest, this series is called Attempting Not to Get Sacked, and at the rate that I'm going, I don't think we're even going to get to 10 episodes. In episode 2, we beat Newcastle United at home after being a goal down at half-time. Jack Harrison scored twice in the second half. It was only the second league win of the season after the first league win of the season in the first episode of the series. And with that in mind, I've decided to pick a game which has a bit of rivalry about it. You know, quite a difficult game, not a game that I was definitely going to win. I mean, that is a lot of confidence from a man who has won 2 league games all season. We followed that Newcastle game up with 2 0-0 draws in a row. We took on Brighton at home and we couldn't break them down for 90 minutes, and then we went away to Everton, got battered for 90 minutes, and somehow got away with the point. We then entertained bottom of the table Crystal Palace, who were without a win all season, and Rafinha got us off to the best start with this great strike from 25 yards, and Steve Mounier opened his account for the club, latching onto this pass and then firing it past the keeper to give us all 3 points. And then we went away to Spurs, and we were actually quite decent for most of the game, but we ended up losing by a goal to 0 in the 80th minute as Lucas Moura headed this in, which brings us into our game today against Chelsea at home, which has quite a historic rivalry. I mean, why that rivalry exists, I don't actually know. You wouldn't be coming to this series for, like, factual information.
You're goddamn right.
The first bit of good news I got was that Patrick Bamford is now out for 3 months because he broke his ankle in the game against Newcastle. Well, it was a good thing I brought in Steve Mounier then, because he's somehow now being promoted to the second choice striker. Although saying that, me and Rodrigo fell out, so he's actually first choice striker. You just knew it was inevitably going to happen. So in the post-match press conference after that Newcastle match, one of the journalists asked me how good was Jack Harrison in that game. Obviously, he scored twice and won us the game. And one of those answers was that I wouldn't swap him for anyone, not even Eden Hazard. You know, the same bloke that has had the biggest career downfall in the last 3 years. They really couldn't find another winger to compare Jack Harrison with. I also got my analyst report for this month, and you know, the analyst was saying how bad we are attacking and defending and passing and creating chances and also keeping goals out of the net. So other than those 5 things, like, we've been doing pretty well. Death taxes and Proudy signing a player and then seeing him get immediately removed from the national team. I also wanted to send one of my coaches on the pro license course, but the board rejected it, and then I went to go and talk to them, and then they said, oh, we'll fund it. That really took a lot of convincing. After our 0-0 draw against Brighton, the team also came to me and said they weren't happy with my management and felt that I was losing support of the dressing room. We are literally on a 2-game unbeaten streak. I don't think I'm losing the support of the dressing room anytime soon. And once again, it didn't take much convincing to say that I'm actually doing quite well at the club. Also, I had to tell a few lies saying that I would actually turn it around. I mean, I should really go into politics. I mean, I've already mentioned the analyst this episode, but there was something very interesting that he brought up before our game against Everton, which we drew 0-0. But in the match before they played us, they took on Leicester, and apparently my analyst said they lost the match. They drew 2-2. You really cannot trust any man that's named Willie.
You what?
And while we're on the subject of Everton, Frank Lampard also went to the press and said that he thinks that we're going to stay up this year as well. Oh, I hope they go down and they keep us up, but no, seriously. And whilst we're still on the subject of Everton, Oscar on Twitter also tweeted how he just got back from the match and that it was very patronising how the Everton fans applauded us after our dire goalless draw. And to be actually honest, I'm going to agree with him, because how are they applauding us after getting that result? It says a lot about how much work Meslier has had to put in this month, because he managed to get 3rd in Young Player of the Month. But we have won our first trophy at Leeds, as we got goal of the month for October, as Rafinha's goal against Crystal Palace was the winner. Just biding our time, lads. We're just biding our time. We're going to win something by the end of the season. Because we've been struggling to score goals recently, I decided to bring in a new coach. So Nuno Gomes has joined us on a 3-year deal. I mean, my first choice was James Beattie, but apparently he's still busy at Wigan. Wigan! I had to bring my next best option, which I feel like is basically the series. It's like my first choice doesn't want to come. The second choice always comes.
What do you mean by that?
But here we go, into our game against Chelsea at home, and once again, it's a different formation we're starting with, but we're going to go with the 4-2-3-1, which has given us some success in the last 2 episodes. There have been a few changes to the back line, and Pascal Stroik and Liam Cooper will be our 2 centre-backs, and Luke Ayling and Junior Firpo will be our full-backs. It does mean that I push Stuart Dallas into midfield alongside Rafinha, who I can't really differentiate from the other Rafinha, because I can't really say Brazilian Rafinha, because both of them are Brazilian. I'm sure I'll figure out. So the three behind Steve Mounier up front are Daniel James on the left, Rafinha on the right, and Rodrigo playing as the number 10. And it shows you how much I tinker because Jack Harrison has actually been one of our better players this season, and I've dropped him to the bench. And whether that's me doing a tactical masterstroke or me being a fucking idiot, we'll find that out in the next 3 minutes. I think it makes quite a refreshing change for once that I'm actually going into a game and I don't have to talk about a new signing that the other team have made. But let's be real for a second. The two teams that I've played before, you know, they actually had to make signings. I don't really think Chelsea had to make any. Although, also saying that, they are playing Ross Barkley against me. I mean, grow up, Chelsea. It's 2022. The first chance of the game went to us, and Junior Firpo got down the left-hand side, put the ball in the box, but Steve Mounier was on the edge of the box when he headed the ball straight at Edouard Mendy. After about half an hour, Chelsea got on the attack, and Reece James cut in from the left-hand side, put the ball in the box for Werner to flick on, and then Ross Barkley then scissor-kicked it against the bar. I'll tell you what, if I had slagged off Ross Barkley and then he scored that against me, I probably would have uninstalled the game. And after that riveting half of football, we went in at half-time 0-0. I've now played 5 matches since that Newcastle game. We've only scored 2 goals. We've scored 2 goals in 4.5 games.
I am Jose Mourinho.
I mean, it's a good thing my team's not a firing squad or anything. Chelsea got the first highlight of the second half as the ball was played in by Azpilicueta, but then Kai Havertz then headed the ball against the bar. I mean, they've hit the bar twice now. And I was going to say, you probably are wondering, we probably did get a chance, and we definitely did, but then the footage just corrupted. That's great. We've had 2 chances this half. One went at the keeper, and the other one, we don't even know what happened. And then we did get another highlight a couple of minutes later as Dan James escapes his marker on the left-hand side and put another ball in the box for Steve Mounier to head straight at the goalkeeper again. Look, to be brutally honest, I know the chances aren't forcing the goalkeeper to make any save or anything, but I am feeling quietly confident we could actually get a result here. And then substitute Jack Harrison came off the bench and put a great ball into the box for Steve Mounier once again to be on the edge of the box and volley it straight at the keeper. I can feel it. I can feel it. I know a goal is coming for us. I know it is coming, but Steve Mounier is getting so many chances. He needs to put one of these away. Then Mellier's long kick went over the top of the Chelsea defence, found Mounier, who then fired the ball over from 25 yards. I mean, I thought it was in. It was still pretty much all lost as 2 substitutes, Petr Sevcik and Jack Harrison combined, and Jack Harrison then headed it over the bar. And I thought if we went 2 up front, we actually have a better chance of winning. That was until I realised that I took off my only other striker, Rodrigo, for Sevcik, and none of the other players behind Mounier could play up front. Another tactical masterstroke by me then. And the moment that ruined the game completely, substitute Thiago Jallo then took out Ross Barkley and gave Chelsea a penalty. Against the runner play as well. That is what is so frustrating. And Timo Werner, like the back row lurker he is, fired the penalty away and gave Chelsea the 1-0 lead. Chelsea did get a chance in injury time to wrap up the game, and Conor Gallagher was amazingly denied by Meslier from about 3 yards out. And that brought the end to the game. We'd lost 1-0 at home to Chelsea. I don't know really what to say about that. We pretty much matched Chelsea in the game. We had the same amount of shots at them, more shots on target, and somehow our XG was only 0.65, while theirs was 2.54. I'm still waiting for our inevitable collapse in the league, and I think it might be happening.
Bongo cha cha cha.